After 43 years on this bench, I've heard cases that test every limit of what a human heart can endure: the evictions during illness, the foreclosures after loss, the quiet cruelty that hides behind business decisions. But on that freezing Christmas Eve morning in 2024, a disabled veteran, 68 years old, Purple Heart recipient, both legs amputated below the knee from an IED in Afghanistan, rolled into my courtroom in his wheelchair, facing immediate eviction from the only home he'd known for 15 years. The landlord had served notice on December 23rd, changed the locks while the veteran was at a VA appointment, and left his belongings on the curb in 18-degree weather. When the full story came out, the landlord's refusal to accept rent because the property was being sold, the veteran's missed payment due to a VA benefits delay of only 11 days, and the landlord's cold insistence that rules are rules. My ruling wasn't just legal, it was savage in its justice. And when the gavel fell, the entire courtroom dissolved into tears, including mine. This wasn't a routine landlord-tenant dispute. This was an attempt to throw a man who had given both legs defending this country onto the street on the holiest night of the year, all for a few days' late rent and a quick flip sale. The verdict didn't just stop the eviction, it exposed a level of callousness that made even the bailiffs look away. Before I relive every gut-wrenching detail of that Christmas Eve hearing, hit that subscribe button right now. Seriously, click it, because stories like this remind us why compassion must sometimes be as fierce as the law itself. Drop a comment telling me, could you stay dry-eyed if you saw a disabled vet evicted on Christmas Eve? You're going to feel every word of this one. I've been a circuit court judge in Cook County, Illinois since 1982. That's 43 years of balancing scales that often feel impossibly weighted. Every morning I arrive early, make my coffee, black, strong, the way my brother drank it before he shipped out to Vietnam and never came home, and pray silently for wisdom before the robe goes on. My clerk, Michael, who's been with me for 28 years, knows when a case is going to hit like a punch to the soul. That Christmas Eve, he met me at Chambers with a quiet, "Judge, emergency eviction hearing, disabled veteran. Landlord changed locks yesterday. Veteran spent the night in his car with his service dog. He's here now." The file was thin but devastating. Plaintiff and landlord Victor Lang, 58, real estate investor. Defendant, Sergeant First Class, Ritorazin. Thomas Tom Riley, 68, 100% VA-rated disabled combat wounded veteran. Claim forcible entry and detainer, possession of premises, unpaid rent of $1,850 for December, emergency motion for immediate possession. Tom's answer, equitable defenses, waiver, estoppel, unclean hands, violation of implied warranty of habitability, and bad faith eviction timing. Courtroom was nearly empty, holiday hours, skeleton staff, but those present were heavy with emotion. Tom's VA caseworker, a VFW representative, two neighbors who'd brought him coffee that morning, and the landlord's attorney looking impatient. Tom rolled in at 9:05 a.m., wheelchair, USMC cap, service dog, a black lab named Duke, at his side wearing a vest that said, "Do not pet, working." Tom's uniform jacket hung loose on his frame. His face was weathered, eyes tired but clear. He maneuvered to the defendant's table, Duke lying quietly at his wheels. I started with compassion. "Sergeant Riley, thank you for your service. I see you're representing yourself today. Do you need any accommodation?" Tom's voice was steady, gravelly. "No, ma'am. Just want to be heard and maybe get back into my apartment before nightfall. It's Christmas Eve." The landlord's attorney rose. "Your Honor, this is straightforward. Tenant is 3 weeks in arrears. Landlord properly served 5-day notice, then 30-day notice to vacate. Locks were changed lawfully after possession was granted ex parte yesterday. Tenant has no defense." Tom looked up. "I paid November rent on time. December VA check was delayed. Government shutdown glitch. It posted December 26th. I told Mr. Lang I'd have it by the 27th. He said no problem. Then he changed the locks while I was at the VA clinic getting my legs adjusted. My meds, my prosthetics charger, Duke's food, everything's inside. I slept in my van last night, in the cold, with Duke." The attorney scoffed. "Verbal assurances don't override written notices. Property is sold, new owner takes possession January 1st. I asked Tom, "Did you have any writing confirming the landlord would accept late payment?" Tom shook his head. "No, Your Honor, but he took partial payments before when my benefits were late, and he never posted the 5-day notice on my door. I checked the photos my neighbor took. It was taped to the inside of the lobby door, not my unit. I had Michael pull up the landlord's eviction filings, public record. The 5-day notice was dated December 10th, but the affidavit of service claimed posting on the premises. Photos from the neighbor, submitted by Tom. Notice taped to the main lobby glass, not Tom's apartment door. Illinois law requires posting on the dwelling unit. I turned to the landlord's attorney. Counsel, your client's service of notice appears defective on its face. The statute requires posting on the premises occupied by the tenant and not the common area, and the ex parte possession order was granted yesterday, Christmas Eve. Did you notify the tenant of the hearing? The attorney stammered. We posted notice of motion. I displayed the court file. No certificate of service on the defendant, no email, no phone, nothing. You took default judgment without ensuring he had actual notice. That's a due process violation. The attorney tried to recover. Your Honor, the tenant is in arrears. The property is sold. New owner needs possession. I looked at Tom. Sergeant Riley, tell me about your disability. Tom's voice cracked for the first time. IED in Kandahar, 2007, both legs gone below the knee, 100% P&T. I've lived in that apartment 15 years, rent controlled because of my status. Mr. Lang bought the building last year. He's been trying to get me out since day one. Raised rent illegally twice. I fought it and won. Then this. I have nowhere else. VA housing wait list is 2 years. Shelters won't take Duke. I spent last night in the VA parking lot, in the cold, on Christmas Eve. The courtroom was silent except for Duke's soft whine as he nudged Tom's hand. The VFW rep wiped his eyes. Even the landlord's attorney looked down. Let me pause, because this moment was crushing. Have you ever imagined a hero who fought for this country being left in a parking lot on Christmas Eve? Drop a comment right now and tell me, what would you have felt if you were that veteran? And if you're already tearing up, hit that like button, because the ruling that followed was as fierce as it was necessary. I turned to the landlord's attorney. Counsel, your client changed locks without lawful possession in violation of the Chicago Residential Landlord and Tenant Ordinance. Self-help eviction is illegal. He accepted late payments in the past, creating a course of dealing that waives strict timeliness. The 5-day notice was improperly served. The ex parte order is vacated for lack of notice and due process. And the timing, Christmas Eve, reeks of bad faith. I addressed Tom. Sergeant Riley, I'm restoring possession immediately. The sheriff will escort you back into your unit today. Locks will be rekeyed at landlord's expense. December rent is deemed paid upon receipt of the delayed VA deposit tomorrow. No late fees, and I'm ordering the landlord to pay your moving costs, storage fees for belongings left on the curb, and $10,000 in punitive damages for willful and wanton conduct, bad faith eviction, and intentional infliction of emotional distress on a disabled veteran during a holiday. I continued, voice rising with controlled fury. Further, I'm referring this matter to the Illinois Attorney General for investigation under the Consumer Fraud Act and the Illinois Human Rights Act. Discrimination based on disability. And to the IRS, if this property flip was structured to avoid taxes, they'll want to know. This court will not tolerate treating a combat-wounded veteran like disposable trash on Christmas Eve. I banged the gavel, hard. So ordered. Sheriff's deputy will accompany Sergeant Riley to the premises within the hour. Landlord's counsel, you will provide keys or face contempt. Case dismissed with prejudice in favor of defendant. Merry Christmas, Sergeant. You've earned a peaceful one. The courtroom erupted, not in cheers but in sobs. The VFW rep stood and saluted Tom. Neighbors hugged him. Laura, my clerk, handed tissues around. Tom looked at me, tears streaming. Thank you, Your Honor. I didn't think anyone would care. I wiped my own eyes. We care, Sergeant, and we're grateful. Go home. Hug Duke. Merry Christmas. As Tom rolled out, Duke at his side, the landlord's attorney sat frozen. Victor Lang wasn't even present. He'd sent the lawyer alone. Word spread fast. Local news picked it up by evening. Judge halts Christmas Eve eviction of disabled vet, orders $10K in damages. Donations poured in for Tom. A local VFW chapter started a fund for home modifications. 2 months later, Tom wrote me, Judge, I'm back in my apartment. Neighbors helped me unpack. The VA expedited my benefits. I got new prosthetics for Christmas from a donor who saw the story. I'm volunteering at the shelter now, helping other vets. You gave me more than my home back. You gave me hope that people still care. Semper Fi. Stories like this burn into your bones. A landlord can evict on Christmas Eve thinking rules protect him, but justice, when it sees a hero, can be savage, swift, and tearfully right. If this reached into your soul, If you believe disabled veterans deserve protection, not punishment, hit that like button, subscribe for more courtroom moments that honor sacrifice, and share this with every veteran you know. Comment below, what would you have said to that landlord if you were on the bench? Thank you for listening. God bless our veterans. Justice isn't blind on Christmas Eve. It sees the uniform, the scars, the service dog, and it acts. Check the next video. Another eviction horror story with a powerful twist is coming. Take care of each other, especially those who once took care of us all. Merry Christmas, and thank you for your service.